To lock in your favorite Wager Talk expert through the end of the calendar year, it would cost you close to $2,000, but you can get all sports for all of 2021 from the handicapper of your choice for only $9.99. This comes out to under $4 per day and includes any rare 5% best bets released over this time.
All right, guys, welcome in. I cannot believe it is the Thursday edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show, powered by WagerTalk.com. We got 6 games in the association tonight, 6. And we're going to talk about, oh, look at that, all 6. That's correct. We'll give a little bit of nuggets on each. Of course, we'll have a contrarian, we'll have an overtime, we'll feature a couple of these games. Bottom line is we will point you in the right direction to make it a profitable evening. And we will do it, guys, with 3. Well, who the hell are we kidding? It's the OG crew. It is Thursday OG in the house, the original NBA tip-off show. This was it, guys, the very first show many moons ago. It was this panel right here, starting at the top. Ski Prophet in the house. In the middle today, who else? Keeping our sanity, Mr. Rob Vino. And, oh, shit. Tony Finn, still alive. I don't know. Don't ask me. I have no idea. God almighty. I have no idea how it happened.
Oh,
Finn joining us here again today, guys. But listen, it was a big night last night. We learned, and if you haven't learned, that the Knicks can be a very profitable team to back. They are definitely a hell yes team, Ski. But we didn't have you on the show yesterday. We missed you. Talk to us. How was your evening yesterday in the association? And what do you got tonight at Wager Talk, Ski?
I'm loving OG Thursdays. I'm already having tears coming out of my eyes. But yesterday, I had a good day in the NBA. I won 4 out of 5, and I think I've won 7 out of 8 my last 8 NBA plays. So look to keep it going today.
Seen the board well. That is what he is doing, as is this next gentleman. Rob Vino continuing to crush it here in the association. Rob, what'd you have last night, if anything, and what do you got tonight?
Well, I'm afraid to tell you if I did anything good, Joe, because I don't want to get the Steve Merrill treatment, but nah, screw that. I'll tell you. I'm number 1 year to date in the NBA, number 1, 2020 in the NBA, so those make me happy. Last night we were 2-1. Looked for a half like we could go 3-2, but Memphis fell apart to the Clipper backups in the second half, and probably should have been in and out with the first half rather than full game. But 2-1 yesterday, doing real good in the NBA. Look to keep that rolling here today.
Yeah, you are absolutely crushing it. And believe it or not, from the grave, so is this man. Tony friggin' Finn, my man. You are Major League Baseball, the association. I know you love this time of year, man, because both of those sports are true to your heart. So what do you got going on in the NBA tonight? How you been since last time we saw you?
Well, I don't have anything up live, official, for the NBA tonight.
All right, good talking to you, Tony Finn. Thanks for showing up here today. Like, what the?
But I do have some ideas. And I'm 4-2. Last 2 nights, 3-1, 1-1 last night. The only winner I had last night was the Knicks over. That was pretty easy. At least the first half was easy. Ended up still going over, but that's 4-2 NBA. And I'm not as good as Rob. I'm number 1 overall
in our hearts.
Wager Talk lifetime.
Yes. Right.
Overall number 1 lifetime.
Yeah.
I think I'm number 2 overall all basketball lifetime. So must be Rob number 1. I'm where I should be in the back seat.
Better than Rob.
Yeah, see, it doesn't count if you make up your own awards. See, Tony, that's not how it works. But all right, listen, you are number 1
if
in
I
your
make
house.
my own,
You little arts and crafts, you cut out ribbons. I get it, brother. Let's move on. Let us do this. Let us go and start with our contrarian game of the day. Now, the contrarian record to date, guys, 37-29. It did it again last night as we cashed with the Cleveland Cavaliers taking care of business against the Chicago Bulls last night. We'll see if we can keep this rolling tonight and take a look at the New Orleans Pelicans taking on the Orlando Magic. Now, guys, we got the Pelicans riding a great 0-4 straight up an ATS slide right now. They have been outscored by almost 7 points per 100 possessions. And the betting market apparently loves them tonight because they continue to bet them and the line continues to go up. We're looking at a 7.5 as an open, and now we see 9 against this Orlando Magic squad. So, Ski, I'll start with you here, brother. Listen, nobody's going to get rich back in the Magic. I get it. Certainly, not recently. But the New Orleans do you agree with this market move, or do you think there's some value here with the home underdog in a contrarian spot?
Well, I feel two ways. For one, I feel like I don't want to lay double digits with the Pelicans, just in general. Like, that's not a thing that I want to do. But I'm looking at road favorites, kind of getting same season revenge, and they lost their last game in general with the rest, less than 2 days rest for both teams. So far this season, 28-13-1, 68.3%. That says play the Pelicans, but I don't know if I want to do it with any of you guys' money on the show. So I might look more towards the total for myself. And if you're getting like 221 for a Pelicans game, I think that's fairly low. I'll probably go over. I don't know if I can get behind the Pelicans. I'll probably ride with the contrarian today.
Yeah, it's one of those situations again where it's the public, and I don't know, Rob, unless we're missing something here, but what in the name of the NBA gods has New Orleans shown us to continue to get this kind of love in the betting markets? Help us out here.
Yeah, zero, Joe. I mean, absolutely zero. It's a team now that's almost played themselves out of the playoffs. I mean, Stan Van Gundy's first year, a complete bust. That's for sure. I don't know how much ambition there is, aside from Zion, who seems to play his heart out every single night. I don't know, if this team is really interested in making the playoffs at this point in time. We'll see what kind of decision they make on where they go next season. But the same can be said for Orlando. An article that I read this morning, Orlando not really interested too much in winning games, being competitive. But not necessarily winning games. They are currently sitting with 18 wins, which is the same as the Detroit Pistons. So there's a little battle there for an extra shot at a higher draft choice come lottery time. I think, if you're the Pelicans, you're getting this many points, you can play real hard. You see it all the time. You can play real hard for 45 minutes. And then if you're in a close game, you can just fade away and lose the game in the last 3. But I don't think they can lose by this margin to New Orleans. So if I had to play, I'd probably be on the contrarian side here. I think Orlando will show heart. New Orleans, a couple of games ago, Eric Bledsoe says that we forgot. The coach told us to foul on the play. I mean, they don't even listen to this guy in the huddle. So I'd probably have to go contrarian.
It's a tough spot here, Tony Finn. I mean, it really is, because it's gotten to the point where it seems all the value now lies on the Orlando Magic. Can you trust New Orleans at this price on the road here tonight?
Well, I don't think you can ever trust the Pelicans. Home, road, Mars, Jupiter, the moon. You can't trust them. Van Gundy, I've always liked the Van Gundys. But Stan, the man, has had his issues. He tried from day one with this team to play old school basketball, and it just doesn't. Not only does it not work with this youth on this Pelicans team, I don't think it works in today's NBA. First off, we'll go back a couple of games. I think we'll go back with the Nets when they lost to the Nets at home. The Nets have only won 2 games this year out of 6 when 2 of their main 3 weren't playing, when Harden and Durant aren't playing. This was one of them. We had a show, Rob and I had a show where John Kelly's big, it was bet the Nets on revenge, with some revenge in there, this, that, all that. Here's the deal. They missed that they lost that game with Irving having a pretty good game. But after the game, here's what Van Gundy says. You make, huh?
Who the hell is John Kelly? What show are you talking about?
John Kelly? You don't know John Kelly?
Who the hell is John Kelly?
John Kelly's like
John Ryan, you putz. John Ryan, not John Kelly.
No. Ryan, Kelly, all those Irish names are the same. When I say John Kelly, it means John Ryan. You know that. But let's get back to basketball. Van Gundy. Yes, running back on defense has nothing to do with youth and experience. Getting down and competing defensively has nothing to do with youth and experience. Blocking people out, nothing to do with youth and experience. Getting beaten on a cut, nothing to do with youth and experience. Van Gundy said this. I don't think tonight our lack of experience had anything to do with the result. Nothing. No, it's coaching, Mr. Van Gundy. I'll take the contrarian side here. I'm all over Orlando on those points.
Wow, we got a little shot there at the guy, and you know what? He deserves it because he's just completely lost the game. The end of the day, guys, it's the Magic +9. That is the contrarian game, and that is the contrarian side we are looking at here. Orlando Magic +9, taking on the New Orleans Pelicans, 7:10 Eastern time tip-off on that one. All right, guys, let's dive into some of our featured matchups, and we'll start with, oh, look at that! John Kelly sent over an angle of the day. Thanks, John Kelly. John Ryan, what the hell?
You know who John Kelly is.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to know who John Kelly is now.
I do.
Let's see what our good friend John Ryan of SportsMemo.com sends us here today. He's talking about betting on road favorites up to 5.5 points using the first half betting line. All right. Game is played in the second half of the regular season. It's following a game in which the road team made at least 12 three-pointers, and it's also part of a road team who is a solid three-point shooting team, making at least 37% of their shots. Now, over the last 5 seasons, 32-14 against the number, that is 70%. So we're looking for a team that can shoot lights out from behind the arc, which means we're looking on the Phoenix Suns tonight, first half, over the Boston Celtics. And we'll take a look at this game as it opened up somewhere around that, 6.5, and that didn't last very long because it is now down to 1.5. The Phoenix Suns coming off of that game last night. Now 220.5 is what I'm seeing, even a 221 in the marketplace for a total. Again, I don't think Jaylen Brown is playing, doubtful with a shoulder injury, but I do believe Marcus Smart, Kemba Walker, and the rest of the crew, Rob Vino, there seem to be ready to go here. Interesting spot for Phoenix on this second of the back-to-back. It's been an interesting stretch, this trip out east from them. Do you like them in this spot? As it's because apparently the market continues to push towards Boston here. What about you?
Yeah, I think that what you mentioned, Joe, is the reason for the push, right? Jason Tatum in, Kemba Walker in, Marcus Smart in, Jaylen Brown doubtful, as you mentioned. So perhaps the announcement that those 3 guys are in help push this game down. I kind of like the over in this matchup, tell you the truth. For Phoenix, it's the 3rd road in 4 nights. Tough night in Philadelphia last night against a depleted Philadelphia starting lineup. No Curry, no Simmons, no Tobias Harris in that game. And even still, Joel Embiid, I mean, that 90-foot heave or whatever it was almost went in the basket to send him to another overtime. But I think the matchup dictates over here. Phoenix gives up a lot of points in the paint. There's little resistance there. And Boston does the same. A lot of points in the paint, little resistance there. So for these 2 teams to be able to attack the rim and shoot 3-pointers at the same time makes both offenses really balanced in this situation. Phoenix could have a little bit of defensive fatigue, like I say, 3rd game in 4 nights. And it's been a road trip and will continue to be a road trip against some pretty good opponents here in the East. So maybe, and Phoenix has shown defensive vulnerabilities for the better part of 3 weeks at this point in time. I've said before, I don't think Brad Stevens believes his team is a good defensive unit. They choose to outscore you. To me, this total is a little bit low where it sits right now. So I would look over. I think you'll get plenty of points on both ends.
It's an interesting game. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this game. I do believe Boston's got Brooklyn on tap here, though, Tony Finn. So what do you think we're going to see tonight from this Celtics squad?
Second of a road to back-to-backs, road to road for the Suns. Off that, as Mr. Rob pointed out, that 3-point win in Philly last night, a hard-fought win with a Philadelphia club that was less than, in my opinion. The Celtics arrested, right? But arrested Kemba Walker and Marcus Smart and Evan and Robert Williams, and it's hard to believe. If you guys followed this Boston team last time they played, they said, who, what, where was out, who, what, where was in, and it was nothing to do with what they told everybody. So I'm showing that Brown's doubtful, that Fournier's out, that Tatum and Walker are going to be available, and Williams is out, but I just don't know how much. I would agree with Rob here. It's hard for me to bite and go all in on Phoenix, basically as a road favorite anytime you're in the Garden. Phoenix has shown some vulnerabilities. They've shown to be sleepwalking in a couple of games, and one of those was against San Antonio. So I do like the over. I think defense lacks tonight on both ends of the court, and I think there's points in the paint, just as Rob pointed out, over the total.
All right, we got two in agreement here, Ski, that the over might be the way to look here. What about depth? Something tells me the bench of Phoenix probably not going to have a problem outscoring the bench of the Boston Celtics here. What do you think tonight?
We'll see. Never know. Maybe somebody rests for Phoenix. They've been playing a lot of games lately. Maybe even Chris Paul doesn't play, but I mean, I'm not going to say that, but just never know in today's NBA. Boston's been playing really well lately. They've been covering numbers. And I really want Brown in there because I feel like he's been playing the best out of everybody. But I still would look towards them because the Suns, as good as they've been, they're a lot better at home than they are on the road. Kind of almost 50-50 as a road favorite. And looking at Boston, I already talked about them being better at home. So for that reason, I'll look towards them as a side play. And the point about the over, I think I can get there with the over. Why not just play the first half though? Maybe the fourth quarter slows down. You have Chris Paul. Maybe he wants to slow down the game. You know how they play in the fourth quarter. Boston can play a little slower too. So first half, 108. Maybe we can get to that. I like that over sound.
Yeah, it looks like with Marcus Smart going, he's going to have his hands full there tonight, Chris Paul. So we'll see what happens. Go ahead, Finn. You got something to add, or are you just is your arthritis kicking
I'm just
in?
Fidgety.
Okay, good.
I'm just ready.
Put your hands down, then, will you? Unbelievable. All right, we're moving on. Feature game number 2. Just in time. Look at this. The Detroit Pistons, who actually covered last night against the Dallas Mavericks, taking on the Spurs, who did not cover against the Miami Heat last night in any way, shape, or form. It was a pretty good first half, not a good second half. It opened up San Antonio laying 7.5. I'm seeing 10s popping up all over the place. I'm also seeing 217.5 as a total here. So, Finn, I'm going to come to you, Mr. Fidgety. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think it popped up that Grant is out for tonight for Detroit. Yeah. But right, so but again, double digits for the Spurs. How are you going at this game tonight?
I listen. I get a little chuckle, guys, when all you hear about is Coach Popovich, and granted, Coach Popovich is entitled to a lot of things. He deserves his due, I guess I should say. But they always talk about how young. This is the youngest Greg Popovich team. Have you looked at how young the Pistons are? This is a pretty young team too. Spurs won by 10 in Detroit with no rest when Detroit was rested. So I think the line is the way the Spurs have played for the most part, and the young 4-guard sets. I think it's right, but it's hard for me to lay 8.5 with the Spurs, and it's hard for me right now to take 8.5 with the Pistons. But I like the over in this game personally. I like over the 218. That's the number I got.
Liking the over. All right, there you go. Ski, what do you think? All right, no Grant, but we've seen this before here with this Detroit squad, putting good games together even when he's not in the lineup. What do you think of them tonight?
Yeah, it's not just Grant. I think it's kind of everybody. Grant Plumlee, Corey Joseph, Wayne Ellington, Dennis Smith Jr., all out. So pretty depleted for this Pistons team. I probably can understand and look for an over. Probably not too much defense played in this game. Still, I can't lay that many points with the Spurs. They haven't been playing well in general. They're not a great home team. They're a lot better on the road. So expecting them to win by double digits. Still some NBA players over there for Detroit. So I would NBA overreactions this year. If you've been following these injury reports, just betting all of them, you're getting killed. So I'll let everybody bet San Antonio and maybe come in on Detroit later.
Yeah, it looks like you're right. No Plumlee, no Grant, no Dennis Smith Jr., Magruder's out, Ellington, Corjo. We do have Killian Hayes in here tonight, Rob. And it's I don't know. Do you go from the side perspective, double digits here with San Antonio at home, or do you look towards the total?
Well, it's tough, Joe. I mean, with Detroit now, all the guys that we just mentioned and talked a little bit about this yesterday, not on John Kelly's show, but on John Ryan's show.
Yes.
Where Jeremy Grant all of a sudden gets load management. But if you just look back 2 games, it's not just Jeremy Grant. It's every single guy you just mentioned was rested. They all came back last night and played. And now that they're on back-to-backs, they're all rested again. And Killian Hayes is the guy who played 2 games ago, rested last night. Now he's going to play again. So it looks like they've got a rotation here of, rest 4, play 1, rest 1, play 4, so on and so forth. And I think it goes back to what I talked about earlier, this little battle with Orlando. They both have 18 wins. I don't know which team is more interested in putting their best product on the floor each night out. Detroit plays with effort every single night, no question about it, because they played without these 4 guys a couple of nights ago and beat Cleveland. Cleveland, 109-105, I think was the final there. Game hits 214. It leads me to believe that I'd rather play this game under, even though San Antonio's off a horrible shooting night last night. I have to believe San Antonio's going to shoot better from the floor here. They only make 31 shots in the entire game last night. I think 40% from the field. It's not a team that shoots a lot of threes. They score their baskets from inside the arc. That kind of keeps the game down as well. I'd probably shade toward the under here, Joe, but no real opinion. I don't want to lay 10 with the Spurs. I don't want to take 10 with the Pistons. I think maybe I would just slightly look under.
Yeah, to that point, Rob, I'm looking at Detroit being 9-2 to the under against teams with losing home records. So that would certainly be the case here tonight. Looking at the under in this one, and you're right, that game last night was just absolutely awful for San Antonio. So Tony Finn,
yes,
where you going, man?
I'll go to the over still. Like I so told you earlier in this rotation.
We couldn't talk you out of it, Rob and I. You're still going to go to the over?
Oh, you can't talk. Yeah,
I don't know. I thought we were pretty damn convincing with the argument we brought there. I thought we were good there. All right, guys, I do want to remind you. What? What do you have? What? Arthritis? Nothing. I'm trying to talk you out of every one of you plays just to see how far we can get with you. Before we get to one of our next featured games, though, real quick, guys, do want to let you know, despite what Tony Finn says, Best Bets will be up and ready to rock and roll. Rob Vino and Ski ready to go at WagerTalk.com. All you guys have to do is head on over there right now, visit their pages, and go ahead. There's no reason not to make it a profitable Thursday here. Plenty of action on the board here tonight. But it starts by partnering up with one of these guys here tonight at WagerTalk.com. All right, let's move on. One more featured game before we get to the overtime, and that is Hornets taking on the Bulls here. And boy, oh boy, the Bulls just... what can you say? Just absolutely terrible is what they have been here. And talk about a coach maybe that people are scratching their head about. It opened up as a 2.5 Bulls favorite. Now I'm seeing 1. There are a few 1.5s for the Bulls here tonight. 2.10 pretty much across the board here, Rob Vino. I'll start with you. I don't know. Billy Donovan, has he got a grip on what to do with this Bulls team? Does Zach LaVine mean that much? Like, what do you do here?
Well, I think he does. Obviously, when Zach LaVine's in, it's a pretty good inside-outside game for this team after that trade for Vucevic. But without him, Kobe White's a nice offensive player, but he's not nearly as consistent on a night-in, night-out basis as Zach LaVine is. So I think the offense comes and goes. Billy Donovan, generally speaking, likes his teams to be better defensively. They've got a pretty good defensive front line with Vucevic, with Daniel Tyson, Arkansas's Patrick Williams. But like I say, the points come and go with this team. And on the other side of the coin with Charlotte, even though they've been hit hard for a while now with these 3 injuries, guys that still remain out that are crucial to their scoring, Malik Monk, Gordon Hayward, and LaMelo Ball. They just seem to play hard each and every night. And they showed the other night, I think that first half against the Knicks was 66-60, but then they went away. 34 second half points, I think, in that game scored by the Hornets. So you got 2 inconsistent offenses, 2 teams that still have a lot to play for. I think the Bulls are only 1 game out of the 10th slot and a chance at the play-in to get into the playoffs overall. And Charlotte has dropped. I think at one point they were 4th before all the injuries hit, and now they're down to 8th. So a lot to play for on both sides. I look for a defensive battle. I would probably play this game under the number. I just don't think either offense is consistent enough for 48 minutes to go any other way.
All right. And I believe Graham is in for Charlotte here tonight. He is active. Tony, you got the Bulls 12-5 against the number in their last 17 versus teams under 500. Does that continue here tonight at home?
Wow. These Bulls. Donovan. He's really, he's all season long. He said, these guys, I love these guys. They just need to learn how to win.
Yeah.
Who the hell is going to teach them? If you're not going to teach them, it's a pretty inconsistent game right here, both sides. Think about this. No one's worse at home, I think, than Chicago. Maybe Indiana. I'm just off the top of my head. The Hornets, 10-13 is a road underdog, but they're losers of 5 of the last 6. So I'm looking at this total in this game, and so I go look and see the Hornets, and I see that they scored. Let's put it this way: losers of 5 in the last 6, and 3 of those 6 losses they scored 93, 90, 97 in 3 of them. When they scored the most, they scored 115, and they gave up 130. So what the hell do you do with this game? I would agree with Rob. If you're going to do something here, as bad as this Hornets team has been offensively, and as bad as Chicago is right now, without Levine, under's the play for me.
Going under here. I mean, how much faith do you have in Charlotte, or how much lack of faith do you have for Chicago here, Ski? Which way are you going to approach it?
Hey, really quick, Rob went under too, right?
Yes.
I really just wanted to disagree with Tony Fan, but
That's all about.
I look towards over in this one. Just thinking that I'm looking at it's a little bit healthier Hornet squad for one. Yes, the Bulls are missing Levine, but as far as how many points they've been scoring lately between both teams, if you look at the last 2 weeks, I mean, it's been injury riddled for Charlotte, and if they're healthier now, they should be better. They've been without Levine for a while. The average for both teams the last 2 weeks is 218. So they've been going under, but the totals have been a lot higher than I think we see today. So I think that they could sneak over this total here at, what is it, 210? I don't have my phone still. 210.
210 and a half. Yeah.
Yep. Over.
Going over in the Bulls and Charlotte matchup. It did open up, too, a little bit higher than that, so it is come down. But Ski's saying, hell no, go over in that Charlotte Bulls game. And speaking of over, we've got our overtime section, or now we'll go overtime here. Let's do it because I want to get to this game because I think this is going to tell us a lot about both of these squads as we inch a little bit closer to the playoffs. Guys, let's talk about the Philadelphia 76ers taking on the Milwaukee Bucks here. Interesting enough here, Tony Finn, I'll start with you, that it hasn't moved much, if at all, the total here. But how many times have we talked about, you got to play over, Milwaukee, you got to play over, you got to play over. This is a tough spot for the Sixers, but tell me what you think about the total. Is it over, or is there any value to the under in this one?
It depends. I think this, and maybe you guys will agree or disagree. I think. How do you feel about Milwaukee, and have they tanked enough yet so they fall just far enough behind Philadelphia that they can get interested again, or are they just going to sustain what they've been doing, which is pretty much sloppy play and pedestrian performances? Listen, rested for 2 nights, the Bucks, right? Off a loss Monday, second of back-to-backs for Philly. How much better a setup do you need if you're the Bucks here? I think the numbers saying the same thing. -8. I'm not going to lay it. I'm not going to take it. But I also would be, if we're talking about overs and unders and all that, I'm still playing the over here. I don't think Philly is that interested in winning. tonight. I don't think they're interested in putting out top effort defensively. And if that's the case, then you play over with Milwaukee.
So we going over? Is that what the?
I think so. I would, wouldn't you?
Well, I'm not going to argue because I'm looking at this, and what do we got here? The last how many? This is 13 out of 20 have gone over for Milwaukee here. Ski. It is kind of hard to look at the under in here, but do you see any value in it?
Well, I get to go first this time and disagree with Tony Finn, and then we'll let Rob decide after.
There you go.
So for me,
Starbucks.
For me, my bad. My computer is getting a notification here, and I kind of got a little bit thrown off.
Not
for me. I think what Tony Finn said about the Sixers not really caring and having effort and stuff like that, or they're not going to really show up. Then how do you know that the players are going to be out on the floor? They're all questionable or game time decision, aren't they? Except for Joel Embiid. So maybe they miss Tobias Harris. Maybe they miss Curry or whoever the case is. They could miss some of these players. For Milwaukee, I don't think Giannis is 100%. Giannis could miss this game. And even if all of them play, I feel like it'll be more of a playoff type game. And I think we can get under the number. Philadelphia's been more of an under team anyway. And I think we get pretty solid defensive effort from Milwaukee tonight. So I would go under.
Going under there. Well, Simmons questionable, Rob. And when it comes to certainly defense, I think they've come to realize how important he is to the equation here. So do you agree? If all of them go, is this playoff atmosphere? You think there's an opportunity for an under here?
Well, I think there's no doubt because Philadelphia obviously wants to hang on to that number one seed. They're clinging to it right now. I don't think home floor. Well, you know what? I was just going to say, I don't think home floor in the East means more to any other team than Philadelphia, but it might mean a ton to Milwaukee as well. Philly at home has been a juggernaut for 2 years now. So certainly they want to be there. It's hard to play this game either way, though, with the question marks next to these three guys. Now, if we look back to the meeting that they had on March the 7th, the first half of that game, Philadelphia without Joel Embiid didn't play in the first meeting, all right? But they did have Harris. They did have Simmons. They did have Curry. In the first half, they held Milwaukee to 31 points, 45-31 halftime. Second half comes out, and Milwaukee scores 62. Double what they had in the first half. They force overtime. They win the game, but they shot miserably. I mean, I watched that game from start to finish, and Philadelphia's defense was in full effect in that game. They caused problems without Joel Embiid. Just looking at the numbers here real quick, guys, Milwaukee goes 9 of 39, 23% from three. And if they can't shoot threes, then they really can't win basketball games. They have to shoot threes. I know they score a lot of points in the paint. Giannis gets to the rim. But if Embiid is there tonight, those points are somewhat limited unless, he goes and follows Brook Lopez around the floor. I find myself in a quandary here because we don't know who's playing. I'll say this. Ben Simmons' reason for not playing the last two games has been illness. That's been going around individually in certain spots the past couple of weeks. And what I charted was generally if you're out with illness within the last 2 weeks, you miss 2 games. It leads me to believe that Ben will play tonight. We'll see. That's just a guess. The Curry Tobias stuff, I'm not so sure of. I didn't think Tobias Harris's injury was as serious when he first got injured, but it's kept him out for a while. So it's just too tough, Joe, to call. I think that Philadelphia, though, defensively, if they have everybody, I'd be on the 76ers here because I just think that defensively they're a cut above, and they showed in that first matchup that they can shut Milwaukee down with their guys, and that was without Embiid.
Yeah, it's a toe cramp for Giannis in that last overtime series. Their toe cramp. You get a lot of those, Tony Finn? You get a lot of toe cramps? Got to sit down for a while?
I get a lot of cramps. I get a hell of a lot of cramps.
Yeah, I'm feeling it right now, as a matter of fact. Just a side note, guys, Embiid, points, rebounds, and assists, the number 44.5. So if you're thinking maybe a little regression here, some of the other guys take the slack. I got an opportunity to fade that number there. But let's see what these guys got to say because it is our best bet section. It is time for the buzzer beaters. And Ski, I didn't bring up your Lakers because I felt terrible for you because mostly it's the Lakers. But if you want to include them as your best bet, I got no problem with that. You help yourself here. Talk to me. Where are you going? 60 seconds on the clock tonight.
You damn right I'm going to the Laker game. You think we're going to talk about every game except the Lakers? And I'm on the show? It's not going to happen for me. I'll go to the Laker game. And the reason I like this game is Dallas, well, for one, I mean, I know we get Anthony Davis back, and usually first game back, not really a bet on situation, but Lakers have been playing solid basketball lately already without Anthony Davis. The addition of Drummond is really big. Him and Anthony Davis is going to make the defense even that more crazy for the Lakers. Dallas, when is the last time they covered a game? So I'm not looking their way, especially you don't know if you're going to get Porzingis. You don't know if you're going to get Maxey. If they're really shorthanded and there's a big front court advantage for the Lakers, I think that they shut Dallas down, and I think that Lakers can score whatever they want in the paint. So I'll go with the Lakers plus, 125 right now? Gotta help me out.
Yep. The numbers for Dallas ain't good either, guys. 3-5 straight up, 0-8 ATS slide right now. So you're right. It's been a long time, Ski, since they've actually covered a game. All right, Rob Vino, talk to us, my man. Which way you going here tonight?
Yeah, I'll go back to one we already talked about, Joe. I really like the Phoenix-Boston game over. A couple of things that I didn't point out, when analyzing it the first time around. Phoenix loses Jay Crowder last night, plays 13 minutes. He's out tonight. And as far as their front court is concerned, not only are they porous, giving up points at the rim to begin with, but when you take the physicality of Crowder out, I think that makes it even harder on them to stop the Celtics from penetrating here and scoring some points. They've certainly got guys that can get you off the dribble and get to the rim. And Phoenix certainly will have the same advantages against Boston. We talk about how weak they are in the interior. I don't know that there's going to be a ton of defensive matchups that work in this game. Boston was really, really slowed down by the Chicago Bulls in their last game, 102-96, but the field goal attempts in that game were way low. Chicago kind of kept that thing very slow tempo. I don't think that'll happen tonight. 220 to me is modern day NBA is a pretty easy number to get over. So give me over 220 Phoenix Boston.
All right, thinks we're going to see some offense in that one. The over we go, and that leaves, drum roll, Tony Finn. Come on, Tony, talk to us, my man. 60 seconds. Where are you going tonight? And this is a basketball game, no baseball, so go ahead.
John Kelly's basketball game. So now, here we go. Real quickly, my best bet was the over in New Orleans, Orlando. I'll jump that. But first off, I want to make a double best bet. Play Dallas minus the points. For the most part, unless you've been on the other side, unless the other side's been without key players, like Utah's rested Gobert the other night and injured Donovan Mitchell. The Lakers have lost the games they're supposed to lose during the absence of Davis and the King. So take Dallas in the points. The over, Pels, Orlando. As I mentioned, Van Gundy never got this team to pick up to the defensive, old school physicality, slow it down. Over in Orlando and New Orleans. Two best bets. Mavs minus 2.5. Over Pels and Orlando. I think it's a double slam dunk. There you go.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Now, wait a minute. Hold the horses here, Ski. Two things just happened here. Number one, I think we got a shits and giggles parlay out of Tony Finn here. I think you just shit and giggled it here. All right, Finn. And number two, if there ain't a sawbuck on this Laker game, I don't know what are we doing here, Vino? I mean, you got to be kidding me. Ski, please counter him and put the money on the table.
There's a lot of shit. I don't know about the giggles, but I'm rolling with the Lakers. We definitely got a sawbuck on this one. I got the money line. You can have them. Even money, Tony.
Do you have any? I'll tell you what. Do you have any signed Laker memorabilia?
Oh, like where this is going.
Oh,
I've actually lost.
You have anything?
Lost
You haven't
when I
had.
moved,
If you had anything,
and I'm sad
that you
about
haven't,
it.
Slept
So thanks
in,
for
or
reminding me.
that I don't want to smell that kind of stuff. You have anything that's fresh that we can put in line here?
A lot of my Laker stuff,
Because I have a
posters and
Jason
stuff that I had
Kidd.
like that,
I have a
lost when I
Jason
moved here.
Kidd signed basketball when Jason Kidd played for the Lakers. So I'll
Just
put that.
give me my damn sawbuck, Tony fan.
Oh, he's throwing a Jason Kidd signed autographed basketball when he was with the Lakers?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Ski, grab it, because you know
Did Jason
what?
Kidd ever play for the Lakers, by the way?
Yeah, well, he was on the sidelines for a little while there. It
I
doesn't make a
agree.
difference.
He was in the
Bottom
stands
line
once.
is the
He was in the stands
basketball
once.
is up. That is up, and you get one of Ski's old, dirty, crusty Laker jerseys that are sitting in the corner, hasn't been washed since Magic Johnson was on the damn team. There we go, guys. You got it. You got a bet. You got shits and giggles. You got a whole lot of crap going on here today. Let's recap it all and take a look at our friends from the Gold Sheet and see what they think the best bet is here tonight. And they are going Charlotte. They're taking the Hornets +1 here tonight against the Chicago Bulls. And again, that full write-up, guys, you can catch it on Twitter by following us at WagerTalk. All the write-ups in full from the Gold Sheet that we use on the shows, of course, can be found there. Now let's recap it. We got a lot here going on, including Lakers money line. What more needs to be said? Rob Vino, Celtics, Suns, look to the over at 220 there. Tony Finn went shits and giggles with us, guys. He went Mavericks 2.5 and Pelicans Magic over 220.5. The Gold Sheet likes the Hornets +1. Our good friend John Kelly Ryan, that's his new name, John Kelly Ryan of sportsmemo.com, thinks you got to be looking at Phoenix tonight. That's the angle. Bet on the Phoenix Suns in the first half against the Celtics. And our contrarian game of the day, guys, we look at the Magic getting 9 against the New Orleans Pelicans. That is a lot to digest. We've got a signed basketball up for grabs. We got softball. Holy crap, I'm exhausted, Rob Vino. Unbelievable. Best bets also available, guys. Ski's page, Rob's page, Tony Finn's page, at WagerTalk.com. Make sure you guys head over there. Let's make it a profitable Thursday here. So on behalf of Ski, Rob, and Tony, the original OG crew here on the NBA Tip-Off Show, guys, best of luck with your plays tonight. Hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner, and then come back and join us again tomorrow. We do it all over again. Guys, good luck. Tony, you better have that basketball. You better have that damn basketball.
I got all kinds of stuff.
You better be lying. We will call you out.
I got
good luck, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Are you tired of games of the year and 100-unit locks? If so, check out the professional handicappers at WagerTalk.com today. We leave all that nonsense for the other guys. And for a limited time, new users get their first daily picks purchase up to $40 for only $1. $1? Whose idea was that? Johnny Detroit? I guess so. To redeem this special, just go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper and their picks package.